The beginning of the film, we can observe a girl present in a small chamber, whose walls are cemented. Later on, the girl comes to her senses. She becomes terrified to be there. She cries for help, but no one was there to listen to her appeal. Later on, her chamber started to be filled with cement. She cries, but no one was there to listen to her. In a few moments, the chamber fills with cement, and the girl buries in. Subsequently, the scene shifts after 15 years. Introduced with the main character of the movie, Sam, bright and intelligent student. She has recently completed her graduation. She belongs to an affluent family. Her father is an owner of a renowned company. Her father offers her job in her company and assigns her project of an old building. To resolve a building, if she becomes successful, her father will give her partnership in her company. She becomes excited, as it was her dream. Next day, she leaves for a site. She is an engineer, so she has to plan everything by observing the building. She comes before the other workers to examine the site. This building, no doubt, was too old, but her architecture makes her astonished, as the building was too delicate and it took artistic skills to construct. Actually, this building was made by a man named Joseph. She thinks Joseph might be a genius to make such building in this area. As this area isn't developed enough, even it couldn't catch mobile signals. When she gets in, she meets with the women and her son Jimmy. They are caretaker of this building. Caretaker informs Sam about her room. Jimmy goes with her to show her room. Here caretaker acknowledges Sam about the values and rules of the building. By any method, she hasn't to go at last floor, that is the room of Joseph architect. Second, she hasn't to go at terrace. Sam was already impressed by this building, but she feels mysterious too. As she passes from corridor, she hears mysterious and strange voices. She ignores earlier, but once while taking shower she hears the loud noise of a child's cry. Seems like she wants to talk to her. At night, when caretaker comes for meal, Sam inquires about the members of family. Caretaker tells only 4, rests of the workers have gone earlier. Few of the run off even to leave their baggage. To know the secrets of this building, no one dares to live here. Upon Sam gets wondered about the secret. As of now the building is to be broken, it doesn't matter anymore. Sam takes meal silently and sleeps. On next day she starts her work. She has to find some specific points by which the building falls by the blast itself. As she measures the building, she gets to know about the trouble in the design of building. Here on the wall 16 feet distance was reducing. Sam goes upstairs to check on terrace. She doesn't get the answer, but she becomes acquainted with the secret residence of Jimmy. Now she realizes why Jimmy forbids her to visit terrace. Later on, Sam visits a shop to take key information about this building. She knows about the dark history of this building. She acknowledged, in 1993, 16 dead bodies were found in this building. One of them was the owner Joseph. They believe a factory worker behind this all who belonged to a criminal background. Police has never found that worker, for that the case doesn't proceed further. Sam gets shocked to know. Now she realizes the discussion of caretaker. She was going to leave. On the way she meets Jimmy. He was standing with his dog. Sam inquires that why he lies to her that Joseph is alive. And also forbade going upstairs. For that, Jimmy promised to Sam to take her to roof, but after her mother would sleep. Actually she asks Jimmy to get himself away from Sam. She doesn't want Jimmy to meet Sam. But Jimmy likes Sam. On the other side, while Sam was marking on building, a man comes towards her. He too lives in the same building because he doesn't have another place to live. He was the secondment of the building. After the arrival of Sam, he realizes that he has to go. So, he was quite worried. Later on she goes to last floor. Up there, she finds numerous books, which all belong to Joseph related to architecture. She finds a book, Primitive Belief in Architecture. She likes and takes that book. At night, when she reads that book, she acknowledges many interesting facts about an Egyptian practice. During the construction of buildings, humans sacrificed themselves. They believe for this the building becomes strong. Later on, Jimmy knocks at the door to take Sam towards Joseph's apartment. While walking, he tells her about the history of this building, but not in detail. It gets to know Joseph didn't work for money but for passion. He was too secretive, no one knows how he seems. When one by one people started missing, everyone suspects that worker. Everyone consider that he has made secret apartments. For that he was terminated. They supposed the rays mirror were applied to people's houses. With that, he could see everything. Then police were called to arrest him, but he ran before the police comes. No one knows where the people were disappearing. This worker make a mistake. Her victim was a young girl. When the police came, the dog helped story towards that girl. Started to walk in front of that wall. Later they found the dead body of that girl, along with 15 more dead bodies. Of them was Joseph, whose appearance was too damaged. Later on, the caretaker identified him. Her husband, the father of Jimmy, was also found dead over there. After that, people started to escape. During the conversation, they reached towards Joseph's room. There was nothing, as Joseph doesn't use furniture. In the dark room, Sam runs here and there. Later on, they observe a picture of Joseph on the wall. Jimmy Mischief informs her that his spirit runs off, that's why he said he is alive. Sam doesn't terrified. Later on, she witnesses a black shadow. She terribly runs and goes separate from Jimmy. Sam again hears the voice of the young girl's cry. She was calling her and singing a song. Sam becomes worried and senseless. Sam first aids her. His intention wasn't good, he tried to take advantage of her. Sam rebukes him and pulls him out. After his departure, she visits the apartment. In the same house a little girl, Jolly, lived. Suddenly Sam feels the girl wants to say something and she goes to sleep. In her nightmare, she noticed blood from the wall. She goes towards the wall, there pulls her in. Just like the little girl, she too was buried. She suffocates and is terrified by this experience. She wakes up and cross sign appears on her wall of the room. It means someone visited. Who and how? Later her friend appears to surprise her. She becomes happy and takes him to the 8th floor. Watching Joseph's apartment open, they go in. The caretaker was already there sitting. And closed the door when she goes outside. They were locked. Later she reminds the shortcut informed by Jimmy earlier. She starts to find the sign. Then she finds a window which goes towards the ground floor to the garbage room. Then she perceives, a hole from every bathroom appears. She reminds the whispering of that day was of Jimmy. It was his mischief. She was keeping an eye upon her. She realizes that last night Jimmy did this too. Along with him was that tall man. They want to pull out Sam from the building. To save it from the break-in. Later she calls a worker who confesses somehow. Sam complained to the caretaker about Jimmy. Late night Jimmy sees Sam with her friend. For Jimmy got jealous. They find Jimmy's dog died the next morning. Her friend wants to go. Sam prepares a report. She wants to know the secrets of this building. Jimmy appears to excuse her and is gifted a diary of Sam. For some understand of the structure of this building. The answers which remain unsolved will be found in this diary. According to this diary, there is a huge circle in the middle. If her knowledge is authentic, it was in the backyard of the garbage room. Impressed with Egyptian architecture. Wanted to make the building like pyramids. On the top floor where they find 16 dead bodies. Must be another room in the basement, kingdom where sun directly reflects. Such skills, expertise couldn't be possible for any ordinary worker. There was no confusion to anyone that was planning of Joseph. Now the time comes to brood over his last plan. Sam starts to find from the ground floor. Goes upstairs to find the secret passage. Sam didn't come for a long time, so Sam along with her friend goes to him. In the same place under the solar panel, there was a big hole. This was the place that people were searching, but Jimmy was not there. Later his voice heard could not come and he is injured. For that Sam holds the rope in her hand with her friend. As she down the stair, someone kills her friend with an arrow. His dead body falls upon Sam. Sam fell down and gets faint. After a while, she comes to her senses and finds herself in a dig. With stranger who declares that Jim has befooled her. He doesn't want to keep her away from you. We have already informed him about all the secret passages. He has written everything on there. Sam was confused to understand how he knew everything. Later on, the man introduced himself, Joseph, the owner of this building. They have sacrificed 16 people themselves to make this building unbreakable and eternal. No one else knows other than the caretaker. To take revenge on her husband's caretakers has imprisoned Joseph in her home, place where I cannot get out. Probably, never allows anyone on the terrace. In front of the police, he has claimed his husband's death as Joseph. She punished Joseph in her own way. She knows that when the building will be destroyed, the secret of Joseph will be disclosed as well. But Jimmy interrupted. Sam was confused. She makes a plan. She notices there is a garbage room behind. It could be broken. She uses Jimmy against himself. She informs Jimmy that she gets injured and needs medicine, which isn't in her room. Jimmy brings the medicine. She blasts, for which the wall couldn't be broken. But the caretaker becomes aware of the plan, for she rebukes her. She forbids Jimmy to bring out Sam as she is revealed by the secret, which they have hidden for years. For that, she has to die with Joseph. Jimmy sends the report to her office and drove her car in the lake so no one traces her. She was scared and requested Jimmy to save her. But Jimmy doesn't want to go against his mother. She begs for help to Joseph, but he was busy somewhere else. Sam notices if he wants to kill her, but Joseph declares that this is his grave. He wants to sacrifice himself. After that, this building will be eternal, has to do his murder. He makes her furious, at least she kills him. Later on, Joseph presses a button. After that, cement started to get entered in his grave. He has already planned everything. Here Sam's dad brings people to this place. On the fixed parts, bombs were placed. All the preparations are made. Finally, the task of falling the building is completed. They rescues everyone. Jimmy was confused. How he could let Sam be killed. He suddenly goes into the building to the terrace. Sam was faint in a dig. Listening to the name of some people run after him. As caretaker has informed them that Sam has already gone, for they believed Sam was rescued. Jimmy realizes he is now in trouble and doesn't want to be in jail. He jumped into a dig and commits suicide. Later on, her mother was arrested. Sam was hospitalized. The demoling of the building was postponed till to know about Joseph it wouldn't be demolished, because it is his masterpiece. His building isn't demolished till now. There is something special, that he has done something